On both sides of the story. 922-4112, 922-4113, 922-4114, and 922-4115. You can listen to both sides of the story on the Gleaner's website, www.go-jamaica.com, on your mobile phones at tunein.com or novex.com, or by dialing 832-551-5045 or 213-493-0133 in the USA. If you're in the UK, you can dial 020-3519-0145, and in Germany, 051-180-904044. Our email address is bothsides106@live.com, and you can join us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, or look us up on Skype. We look forward to receiving your instant messages on MSN or Yahoo, and your text messages on 365-3346. Remember, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so we can listen twice as much as we speak. So stay with us as we listen to both sides of the story. 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 We always need to hear both sides of the story.
Lord, make
Class is in session, hour 106.
Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there's injury, pardon. Where there's discord, union. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there's darkness, light. And where there is sadness, joy. O divine Master, grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive, it is in pardoning that we are pardoned, and it is in dying that we are born to eternal life.
Love and hate can never be friends. Oh no, oh no. Here I come with love and not hatred. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow us all the days of our life. Envy no one, no wish to be with no evil man. For then come the day when you'll be with by the Father's hand. Keep up your children. Oh yeah. Keep up past the children. Yeah. My head is anointed and my cup runneth over. Yeah. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow us all the days of our life. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. All right. Here I come with love and not hatred. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow us all the days of our life. Envy no one, no wish to be with no evil man. For then come the
It's the International Decade of Healthy Aging, the International Decade of Ecosystem Restoration, the International Decade of Ocean Science for Sustainable Development, the Decade of Action for Road Safety, and 2022 marks the start of the UN International Decade of Indigenous Languages. It's the first day of the second month of 2022, the International Year of Sustainable Mountain Development, the International Year of Basic Sciences for Sustainable Development, the International Year of Glass, and the International Year of Artisanal Fisheries and Aquaculture. It's the start of Heart Month and Reggae Month activities here in Jamaica, where Restorative Justice Week activities are also underway. Black History Month is being commemorated in the USA. It's Confederal Agreement Day in Senegal, Federal Territory Day in Malaysia, San Cecilio Day in Spain, and St. Bridget's Day in Montserrat. It's World Read Aloud Day and World Interfaith Harmony Week. On this Tuesday, the 1st of February, 2022, the 65th anniversary of the birth of the Crown Prince of Reggae, Dennis Emmanuel Brown. Hoy es martes el 1 de febrero 2022 y les saludamos en cualquier parte del mundo que nos están escuchando en este momento. Estamos muy agradecidos por el don de la vida y el privilegio de servirles en otra edición de su programa Both Sides of the Story, ambos lados de la historia. Nunca vamos a tomar su audiencia por sentado, porque sabemos que ustedes tienen otras opciones. Y esta es la razón por la cual jamás olvidamos darle las gracias por elegir Both Sides of the Story, ambos lados de la historia, de lunes a viernes desde las 2 hasta las 5 de la tarde, aquí en Power 106 FM. La misión continúa para educar, capacitar, iluminar y estimular el espíritu empresarial. Bienvenidos. C'est mardi le 1er février 2022 et nous vous saluons tous qui nous écoutez où que vous soyez dans le monde. Nous sommes reconnaissants du don de la vie ainsi que du privilège d'être à votre service par une nouvelle édition de votre programme Both Sides of the Story, le pour et le contre. Nous ne considérons pas votre fidélité comme l'un de soi parce que nous savons que vous avez l'embarras du choix. C'est pourquoi nous n'oublions jamais de vous remercier de choisir d'écouter Both Sides of the Story, le pour et le contre, du lundi au vendredi de 2h à 5h de l'après-midi sur notre antenne Power 106 FM. Nous continuons notre mission d'éduquer, d'habiliter, d'éclairer et d'encourager l'esprit d'entreprise. Bienvenue. All we're saying is it's Tuesday, the 1st of February, 2022, and we greet you well, wherever in the world you are listening to us right now. We remain eternally grateful for the gift of life and the privilege to serve you on yet another edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story. We don't ever take your listenership for granted because we know you have choices. And that's why we never ever forget to remember to say thanks for choosing to listen to Both Sides of the Story, Monday to Friday, 2 to 5, right here on Power 106 FM. The mission continues to educate, empower, enlighten, and encourage entrepreneurship. Welcome. Good afternoon to those of you listening to us on 106.1, 106.3, 106.5, 106.7, and 106.9. From Morant Point to Negril Point, from the Goat Islands to Galena Point. This is Power 106 FM, serving Jamaica and the diaspora. Hello to those tuned in via the Power 106 FM app, which you can download from the App Store or the Google Play Store, depending on the nature of your device. Downloading is free, listening is free, whenever, wherever. We thank you if you have found other ways and means of tuning in. But let's tell you, though, that if you are in the United States or the United Kingdom, you have a designated number you can call to listen to Power 106 FM. If you're in the United States, your number is 631 359 8281. 631 359 8281. And if you're in the United Kingdom and you wish to dial a number to listen to Power 106 FM, your number is 0330 606 0953. 0330 606, I beg your pardon, 0953. That's 330 606 0953. We're streaming live video on the Dervan Malcolm Facebook page and affiliated pages. If you're not there yet, log on to Facebook. In the search box atop the page, type DERVAN MALCOLM, and you too will be able to not just hear, but see what's happening in the studios of Power 106 FM. There's more after the break.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:15.
Tom, Dick, Harry, or Abby, come out. You may have passed one subject or no subject. Pick up yourself, man. Brush yourself off and go back to school. Get up. No need to be depressed. The Leganese School is offering refresher courses to you with or without CXC subjects. Call the Leganese School. They're registered for January 2022. Give yourself a fresh start. Call the Leganese School at 876-924-3244 for registration.
The Auto World.
It's the only program on Jamaican radio dedicated to the world of automobile. It's the Auto World with Shelley and McLagan. Get news and reviews relating to vehicles and automotive technology. Learn the ins and outs of mechanical operation. Find out about the various stakeholders in the local and international automotive sectors. From auto finance to road safety to motorcycles, the Auto World is your one-stop shop for everything auto. That's the Auto World with Shelly and McLagan. Weekdays at 5:15 p.m. on Power 106 FM and the Power 106 FM app.
Oh yeah, keep up prosecuted. Yeah. My head is anointed and my cup runneth over. Yeah. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow I all the days of my life. Love and hate can never be friends. Oh no, oh no. Here I come with love and not hatred. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow I all the days of my life.
Thank you so much for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. The lines are open to you. Feel free to call us on 876-922-4112-5. 876-922-4112-5. The text line, same as the WhatsApp number, which means you can not only send us your text messages, your WhatsApp messages, your voice notes, but you can call us on WhatsApp as well. That number is 876-365-3346. 876-365-3346. What's on your mind this afternoon? Couple of subjects still doing the rounds. We still have the subject of bank fees and some of the financial institutions having to back up. That's an American expression, isn't it? Back up, back up. Right. A few of them have had to back up because initially they were doubling down, and now there's a bit of backing up. Scotia says, well, we're going to give us 6 months. We're going to make some adjustments for the next 6 months. JMMB are saying, look, the nature of our business, we are transparent, we are people-centric, and whatever we can do, and so on and so forth. And I heard Keith Duncan as well talking about competition, which is, people have choices, etc., etc. And so that's still doing the rounds. There is the matter of the DPP's pronouncement on the party, the No Movement Day party at the R Hotel in New Kingston, St. Andrew, Jamaica. And there are those who are still not satisfied with the DPP's pronouncement on the matter, and one would expect that to fuel that flame that says there are two laws in Jamaica, one for the rich and one for the poor. Brian and Tony Gold did a song along those lines some years ago. Seems there is one law for the rich and another for the poor, but I don't want to be around for the hatter claps when the poor can't take no more. Those are the lyrics of that one. Not making a statement on the ruling itself. The ruling itself is quite clear. It is a matter of what the Disaster Risk Management Act says and whether there are any remedies and what those remedies are, if there is evidence of flouting of the law and also whatever infractions there are. We are still a country of laws, and there are those of us who who perhaps feel slighted, have felt slighted by the law and how the law operates and how the law is administered. But we don't have kangaroo courts in Jamaica. And it's just a fact of life. So what we have to do, if we are building a case, we have to make sure that that case is airtight and that we have all, because remember, as we've always said on this program, in the eyes of the public and all of us for that matter, justice is not about love. It's not about war. It's not about hate. It's not about peace. It's not about honesty. It's not about integrity. It's not about truth. It's not about poor people. It's not about rich people. It perhaps isn't even about justice. It is about, in the case of the criminal court, it's a case of proving beyond a reasonable doubt that someone is innocent or otherwise. That's really what it boils down to, the evidence. What does the evidence say? Is the evidence sufficient? Does the evidence rise to the level where we can pursue this matter seriously in a court of law? Because the last thing you want is to go through that process and for a judge to just toss it out, to say, please stop wasting or don't waste the court's time. Right, so there is that. But you'll never get away from the perception of so many of our people that justice in Jamaica is not colorblind, or it's not blind for that matter. But there are certain nuances that tend to cause the scale to shift, the balance of the scale, a shift in the balance of the scale according to certain peculiarities. But if there are people who feel strongly about this, take it, challenge it in court, take it to the next level. And the R Hotel, we're told, has something to answer to. But those involved in the matter in the office of the DPP have said, but hold on there now. There is no timeline on this recording. Were these people staying at the hotel? If not, when did they arrive? Because there's no evidence of that. And did they leave at some point? And where did they? Yeah, and so on and so forth. But such is the situation when we are talking about laws and court matters and so on and so forth. So that debate will rage on. The other one now, which I when was it brought to my attention? Was it last night? I don't remember how the subject came up. Yeah, last night, my wife brought it to my attention of an obviously mentally disoriented individual who proceeded to take the police on a chase in the hills of St. Andrew. And in that action, took out, I'm not sure, did the motorcyclist die or is he still alive? I gather he, the mentally unstable, well, clearly you have to be mentally unstable to do something like that, quite frankly. The mentally unstable individual then, mowed down a motorcyclist and caused one or two near crashes or collisions along the way with the movements and terrifying people. There was a little girl I saw on the footage. It's amazing with children. It's almost as if the child couldn't even cry or make a sound because she was still trying to process what was unfolding or what had been happening. I don't know if she felt she maybe was in a theme park somewhere and this ride. I don't know. I'm not making light of a serious situation, But that child needs help. That's all I will say. That child needs some counseling. In fact, all the people in that vehicle need some counseling, including the driver. Some kind of evaluation in the case of the driver. Some kind of evaluation is necessary. And in the case of the passengers in that vehicle, they need some counseling. Seriously, not a joke, serious thing. Can you imagine the trauma and the terror? And it's one of the things we talk about all the time on this program. A lot of our people suffer from severe trauma or just trauma, full stop. So we have a lot of traumatized people in Jamaica, and we keep traumatizing more people every day. Case in point, the operator of that moving vehicle. Traumatizing the people. Now, whatever the situation, the police can deal with the subject of the prosecuting the young man, because he obviously is still a young man. But the people will need help. They need counseling. They need counseling. I mean, where you running to? The great Bob Marley, whose birthday we will mark in about 5 days, has a most profound recording. One of my favorites. You're running and you're running and you're running away, but you can't run away from yourself. Isn't that something? You can run away from police, thief, family, whomever, but you can't run away from yourself. You have to live with yourself, for better or for worse, one way or another. So where are you running to in this little country called Jamaica, the biggest little country in the world? Where are you running to? How far? What did you expect? The authorities might want to see to the enlisting of the services of a psychiatrist and or a psychologist and any other professional with the clinical expertise to deal with these matters. And then, of course, the police had to fire a couple of warning shots, and there are those who are questioning whether it was necessary to fire shots. And the police are saying, look, we're not sure why this vehicle was speeding away and why the motorist was being so reckless. As a police force, we couldn't just allow this vehicle to run away or the motorist to go wherever, not knowing what was the situation inside the vehicle. Was somebody holding a gun to somebody's head? Were people being threatened? Were people's lives were being threatened? And invariably, what you really want to do, if you're going to fire, and you have to be very, very careful and to be a sharpshooter, and you want to be very careful. Let's just leave it at that. But it's not the kind of situation you want to be firing shots either. But again, for their part, the police said, look, we had to act. We had to act. And so far, how they acted, the only person whose action was out of line. One moment, please.
You're listening to Pearl 106 FM. The time is now
2:30. Save more on prescription, cosmetics, gift items, toiletries, and stationery at Biomed Pharmacy, 4 St. Hilda's Drive, Brownstown, 917-8464, and Main Street, Gale St. Mary, 975-8275. Biomed Pharmacy, for the service you expect, plus more.
the audio.
Auto World.
It's the only program on Jamaican radio dedicated to the world of automobile. It's the Auto World with Shelley and McLagan. Get news and reviews relating to vehicles and automotive technology. Learn the ins and outs of mechanical operation. Find out about the various stakeholders in the local and international automotive sectors. From auto finance to road safety to motorcycles, the Auto World is your one-stop shop for everything auto. That's the Auto World with Shelley and McLagan. Weekdays at 5:15 p.m. on Power 106 FM and the Power 106 FM app.
All the days of my life. Yeah.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Cleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. Taking your calls on 876-922-4112 to 5. 876-922-4112 to 5. The text line, same as the WhatsApp number, which means you can not only send us your text messages, your WhatsApp messages, your voice notes, but also your calls. We can take your WhatsApp calls as well. That number is 876-365-3346. 876-365-3346. Let's clear our messages, and we have quite a lot from yesterday, because we had a full broadcast, that in-studio road safety broadcast yesterday. We didn't get around to clearing our messages and engaging in discussions with you. And to think that yesterday we did a full program on road safety. But it just goes to show we were just preaching to the converted, as they say. We had a full program. Yesterday we were talking about the fact that in 31 days, 35 people were killed on our roads in motor vehicle crashes and collisions. Just yesterday, full program with all the stakeholders in this business of road safety, traffic management, etc. And on the same day, this individual went berserk. And the video has now gone viral. So you wonder sometimes, but that shouldn't stop us from doing the work. We need to keep putting the word out there. Last year, we lost 484 people on our roads last year this time. I beg your pardon, for all of 2021, 484 people were killed on our roads. And we start a new year, and in 31 days, 35 people have been killed on our roads. It seems these things don't mean anything to some of us. For what it's worth, though, we're going to pick up the discussion that we started with Dr. Kerry Fletcher yesterday afternoon at 4:30 this afternoon, because he did a study. Dr. Fletcher is an orthopedic surgeon based at St. Anne's Bay Hospital, and they did a study of, I think, maybe about 130 odd motorcyclists, and they were Dr. Fletcher was sharing some of those stats with us yesterday. We'll pick up on that discussion at 4:30, because we didn't have enough time to deal with that yesterday because we had a packed program, and so we're going to pick up that discussion. In the meantime, let's see if we can clear the backlog of messages. Crocs in Black River sent a rejoinder. He says, in reference to the story he told us yesterday of his friend, and his friend being charged $100,000, fined $100,000 for not wearing a mask. He says his friend was in a private motor vehicle with a person who was ill, along with other people. I'm not sure. I think the act pretty much speaks to public passenger vehicles. and the business of making sure all the windows are wound down and for proper ventilation, and that those in the public transport should be wearing masks. I'm not sure that that holds true for operators of private motor vehicles. So a family of 3 or 4, for example, traveling in a private motor vehicle, I'm not sure it's the same thing. But you sounds like your friend could very well have a case, Crocs. And Crocs goes on to say, I seem to remember reading a story in a newspaper where the head of the NSWMA is alleged to have caused the death of a pedestrian whole driving his Prado SUV. Something is missing here, Crocs. It is said that he was breathalyzed and warned for prosecution. I'm wondering why the media coverage has been so low-keyed. But one thing I'm sure, it is that the honorable police have taken out their very large piece of tarpaulin and several lengths of rope in order to do what they normally do in these cases. Of course, we can't go there with you, Crocs, in Black River, because if you have evidence of as such, it means you need to bring that forward. Other than that, you're engaging in there's a word that just came to mind that I want to just double check to confirm its use. Oh, spelling is going to be key. I'm going to check it, but we think that would have been an appropriate word to use in that case. And Crocs, remember as well, there's a former Minister of Agriculture who was in a similar situation, you may recall as well. And what is key in these cases is that more than ever, justice must not just be seen to be done. Well, must not just, the quotation, but must seem to be manifestly done, or something to that effect. In other words, the perception will always be there, but whatever happens, those who administer justice must be beyond reproach, and their actions people will always question their decisions. But in the final analysis, if that is put under a microscope, it should be palpably clear that the ruling or the decision was justifiable in a free and democratic society, as the saying goes. Moralist says, good afternoon, Sir Malcolm. This was yesterday, raining in St. Mary. God gave to our first parents the means of true education when he instructed them to till the soil and care for their garden home. After sin came in, through disobedience to the Lord's requirements, the work to be done in cultivating the ground was greatly multiplied for the earth because of the curse brought forth weeds and thistles. But the employment itself was not given because of sin. The great master himself blessed the work of tilling the soil. Colossians 13:4. It is sweet to get everything fresh from the farm. Thank you, Moralist, for your message. A driver in America says, good afternoon. Oh, I think this message was for Calicia Findley yesterday afternoon. Can one proceed with surveying a property if one does not know and cannot find out whose property it is bordering to notify them of the intent to survey? Right, let's forward this to Calicia Findley of the law firm Brown, Findley and Company, so that you can have your answer. There we go. Message sent, and the accompanying contact information will also be copied and sent to Calicia Findlay of the law firm Brown, Findlay and Company. So there goes that one. Let's move up the line now to another message. This one says, "Good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm. It's a pleasure to be able to hear the broadcast from Poro 106 once again. This was discovered about a week ago with reference to the survey on motorcycle crashes done by the St. Anne's Bay Hospital. It would be interesting to know what percentage of the riders were under the influence of marijuana or other hard drugs." Well, we're going to find out this afternoon at 4:30, all things being well, when Dr. Kerry Fletcher rejoins us to complete the sharing of the data in that study that was done. We should find it quite instructive, or no doubt we'll find it quite instructive. Thank you very much for your message on WhatsApp, 876-365-3346. Let's clear some more. James in East London. What is this now? Rape threats and Auschwitz jokes. Shame of Met cops revealed by Watchdog. So James is continuing the tradition of sharing these stories doing the rounds in England. Thank you for sharing. We'll read as soon as we're able to. His message says, "Good, Sir Malcolm, listening, East London. Can you please Stop the Fighting so early in the morning, Dennis Brown?" Well, we have a whole month to play Dennis Brown and other reggae recordings. So we'll have time. Roy Lawrence says, bless up. Oh, this one was yesterday. "Bless up, Mr. Malcolm. Can you check for me when was the last time seized guns were destroyed by the authorities? Thanks." Somebody raised that subject maybe about a week or so ago, and it's a question worth asking, because again, there's a perception out there that invariably, or every now and then, or ever so often, guns are planted on individuals. And the question is usually, well, where are those guns from? And then you have people speculating about the armory of the JCF, for example, and how that is managed. Now, this is where it is so important to have a level of transparency so that the members of the general public can be reassured that I don't think they'll destroy every single weapon, but that where weapons need to be disposed of, that process can stand up to scrutiny. That's the thing. The other part of the message, well, today's component to the message says, "Greetings, Mr. Malcolm. It would have been better if the DPP had kept silent or asked that the videographer needed to come forward to verify it." Well, who's going to do that if they haven't done that already? Who is going to take ownership? We have seen this as well. Remember that car that was spinning and doing 360s on Dunrobin Avenue near to the intersection with Constant Spring Road? Whatever came of that? And whoever was responsible for recording that situation as it unfolded. More in a moment.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:45. For hard-to-get parts, call us first. Gold Plus Auto Supplies and Accessories offers low prices on Japanese spare parts, Toyota, Nissan, and much more. Visit our branches at Grayfair, Savannah Lamar, McCarthy Street, Montego Bay, and Main Street, Santa Cruz. At Gold Plus, we have your parts. Call 876-955-3052. That's 876-955-3052.
The Auto World.
It's the only program on Jamaican radio dedicated to the world of automobile. It's the Auto World with Shelley and McLagan. Get news and reviews relating to vehicles and automotive technology. Learn the ins and outs of mechanical operation. Find out about the various stakeholders in the local and international automotive sectors. From auto finance to road safety to motorcycles, the Auto World is your one-stop shop for everything auto. That's the Auto World with Shelley and McLagan. Weekdays at 5:15 p.m. on Power 106 FM and the Power 106 FM app.
She need some money to take care of her sickness, and I cannot get nothing from the lawyer. What can you advise me, please, sir? Show me goodness and mercy shall follow us all the days of our life. It be no one, no wish to be with no evil plan. For there comes the day when you'll be pleased by the Father's hand.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Taking your calls on 876-922-4112-5. Hello, good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Yes, sir. People.
Greetings.
Yeah. Really, the DPP road. I strangely agree with her this time around, because the clause that they put forward are the areas that they looked into. They don't know how long those persons was booked into the hotel or was at the hotel. So they don't know whether or not they got there on the no movement day or not. Plus, regretfully, politicians are exempt from the COVID rules and law that are laid down. So those two areas, no, they could not be charging them.
Yes. You're spot on.
Right. So I don't know why people don't even look about that. If they are exempt from the COVID rules, wherever they go, whenever they want to go, they are covered by Parliament and with them set up to protect them.
The Disaster Risk Management Act,
Right.
which has been constantly, ever since this pandemic, has been constantly amended. So they keep adding things or taking away things out of it for whatever reason.
The reason to protect them.
Yeah, well.
But what I would implore the DPP to do is to release the findings of Indicom Nzinga case, because it has been an artist from last year a long time. I don't know if Ades is so piled up that she can't look through it. She'll be going back to court on the 3rd of this month for another charge that they added to her, which was not even on her bail bond. So, one and one will be gathering there at the Maple Courthouse to show solidarity and support for her. So the call is for the DPP to tell the public, enough ones is asking what has happened to it, why it is so hushed up. Thank you, sir.
By all means, that's what good citizens do. You feel strongly about this matter, press on and do all you can to bring it, to keep it in the public eye, and cause the authorities and the decision makers to act with a higher level of probity and accountability. Well done, Rasgaba. Take care. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, and we keep saying it on this program, that people must be able to enjoy a level of trust in the holders of certain offices and the decision makers in certain positions. So that if issues are dragging on and on and on and on, people are going to draw all kinds of conclusions, as opposed to, and yes, we are aware of backlogs here and backlogs there, but certainly we can be a little more efficient. We have a lot of students, law students, because there are so many people doing law. We have a lot of law students. Can we employ some of them to assist in some of the rudimentary, routine type work that would take off some of that burden off those who have to be more clinical in their approach in working out of some of these offices and institutions and organizations. It doesn't help if it just keeps dragging on and on and on. What about just investigating and bringing the matter? Or do you need to have your superior or someone higher up saying, I need a report on my desk in 5 days or 7 days or tomorrow morning? We have to be more efficient in how we deal with these matters of public interest. Otherwise, all we're going to be doing is helping to further erode the whatever little trust is left in our society. Let's go to the phone lines once again, 876-922-4112-5. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon to Michael.
Good afternoon. I'm so sorry you're on a scrambled line, it seems. Oh, dear. Hold the line. Let's see if we can help you clean up that line. But the signal is rather scrambled. And we need to hear one sound coming through as opposed to a multiplicity of sounds. While we're sorting that out, let's clear some messages here on your program, both sides of the story. Paro 106 FM. Let's try again. Hello, good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon to Michael.
That's much better. Go ahead, please.
Yes. On the matter of Minister Green and the DPP.
Yes.
Okay. What I can say about that, it don't really have nothing to do with the spreading virus, and I think that is what the disaster management is about. That's my point. It don't have nothing to do with this, with the spreading virus. So whether him exempt or not exempt, or the intricacies of the law, it don't have nothing, and that are the concern of the population.
I don't know what you mean by it has nothing to do with it. It has everything to do with it. This is the Disaster Risk Management Act. Disaster and risk, two key words there. Disaster and, well, three, management. Disaster risk management. We're managing or trying to manage a pandemic in Jamaica. And if we're going to manage a pandemic in Jamaica, we have to put in place the kind of legislation like the Disaster Risk Management Act, which is going to take care of certain essentials that are constitutionally speaking quite necessary.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. It don't have nothing to do with that. The virus don't respect. The virus don't respect. We can't set conditions, you know, but the laws of the virus, right? That everybody will look on, you know, because you know the little man answer and say him definitely rape the spread the virus by not obeying the restriction of how to fight the virus. So it come down back to know how to fight the virus, ways to fight the virus. So you see, I don't cry in public because some man can get to spread the virus while others, you know, after they are jailed. I forget police. I think that the population, that's why nobody now will really feel comfortable in themselves, but still believe a bias in the ruling.
Well, you're not going to get away from that. You're not going to get away from that.
Should I get some amount of penalization to justify public opinion? To give comfort in
No, that's not how this thing is supposed to be done. You know, you're not going to penalize somebody just for the sake of pleasing members of the public.
Not
You
pleasing the
have
public.
to there has to be some basis on which you are going to apply penalty.
It's not just about pleasing the public. It's about the the virus, the laws of the virus. The reality of the virus, a spreading virus. That virus that spreads so fast like the Omicron still. You understand? But the whole idea with the management is restrict the spreading of the virus. So I want to look at it now. Say if this whole management is about restricting the virus, some people can spread it while everybody, others are trying to lock down and so on, no movement and so. You understand? That the public are look at, so there will never be no comfort in the public soul. You understand? And with the matter of the girl now, with the matter of the girl with them trim. Now, you see, we have to do better than that. You have to, the population rule, we're in a democratic society. So the vastness of the population rule. No. I mean to say, we have to have somebody with a high of justice. We are see. We know, say, well, they know. Quicker justice one to the child. You understand? Whether she should condemn or not condemn. Or whether the authority in charge as she supposed to make that happen to she because they're going to say on them. You understand? So if somebody intercept the prison and trim her, them something to talk about because the public
they're not supposed to be talked about. They're supposed to be acted upon.
Well,
It's been a long time.
Mr. Malcolm.
It's been a long time.
Yes, that means I'm glad the Rascaba support us, but him want more strength. You see, they want more intellect with them because a man said little Rasta. So I don't believe it was a white girl, right? Them would have do her so. I don't like it, you see. It's coming like the brother, Black Lives Matters man, when me and that guy still.
George Floyd.
In our country like Jamaica, where we say, black country and so we can't be worse than the white man. There's some examples to say. And I mean, that's the country can't because the crime and kill you out, because no man knows no justice. So,
but this is the thing,
which is desperate,
which is the point that we're making. When we have these cases, especially cases of public interest, you want to deal with them as quickly as possible.
Yes.
Because people, it has implications for whether people get, at the end of it all, people get a great sense of hope to say, yes, there is justice in this country, or whether their hearts are going to be broken.
Yes, because of the penalty, the man can't pay something to, if he pay one to
but everybody knows, everybody in,
yes. I charge you 120,000. So we paparize that politician.
No, well,
you can't do something better that man. Show something to the people. No, you can't just get the scotch with
no, well, but hold on now. But I can't go down that road that you're going down. No, about just charge him some money. No, because we're talking about justice. Yeah. And we have to be careful. There's a saying, and I keep remembering Marlene Malahoo Fort when she used to work on Power 106 hosting a talk show. She used to close her program. I don't know if those were her words or she borrowed them, but she used to close her program by saying, when you seek justice or as you seek justice, do justice.
Right.
So we want to be careful that we don't become the people we condemn. So we want to be mindful of that. One moment, please. One moment.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
3:00.
Becky is a deal hunter. She flips through the newspapers every day for great deals on products and services. Wow, I saw the same deal online.
Really? Where?
I found it on G-Commerce.
G-Commerce? What's that?
It's an online site for deals. Here,
Have a look.
Wow, these are deals that I have just found in a newspaper, plus others I haven't seen before.
Yep. Best of all, you can make the purchases right here on the site and have it either picked up or delivered right to your door.
That's great. Where do I sign up?
Go to gcommerceja.com to sign up and start clicking for the deals. gcommerceja.com, where the best deals are found.
Yes, sir. So by all means, let us seek justice. Let us call out those who need to be called out. But let's be careful that we ourselves don't commit injustices or an injustice as we're seeking justice. Because then, yes.
Truly. But the population, you see, because when me justify the unjust, the world will look. You understand? That's why some countries don't believe in a Jamaica. Just you see all the man where they never were there, and all of them in a car come and so with you.
Who did they?
Who should have been the one to ensure that the man get go through the proper channel? I shouldn't, because then let go the man.
Who did? We don't know about anybody letting go anybody. Whatever was done.
I understand the man were them suspects in the assassination.
He has been released into the custody of the authorities in another country. That's my understanding. What?
Yeah, them let him go on because them say they don't have no authority to press. You know.
Yeah, but this is what I'm saying. There is a basis, and that's what happens when we're dealing with the law.
And I think so Malcolm, when we do justice, it has to perceive, that we, to the population, whether right or wrong, it has to perceive that way. Otherwise, you have a problem, you have unrest with the population.
We said that.
Well, I understand when you talking to Malcolm, because,
Yes.
Through the years, I really can detail the things them as more than one at the moment, Thanks.
All right. Thanks for the call. Take care. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, 876-922-4112-5. The numbers to call, 876-922-4112-5. Dr. Lorna Fairweather has shared with us a couple of pictures here of people wading in the water. She says, good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm. Once again, our town, Port Maria, was flooded from the heavy early morning rain. We need major strategic planning. Trust you are well. Days after your birthday. Not my birthday at all. Think you have the lines crossed there, Dr. Fairweather. Try again. Try again. Thanks for your call. Thanks for your message. Sorry to see the devastation, the impact of those flood rains. Such is the nature of nature, as we like to say on this program. Such is the nature of nature. Nature of nature. Donia Kroll says, I saw this Dervan and thought you may be interested. It's a tribute to the work of Una Marson. Donia Kroll, still in Montego Bay. Thank you very much, Donia Kroll. Yes, that's information we already have. Thank you very much for sharing it nonetheless. Thank you. Ever so often we share the history of Una Marson on this program, Both Sides of the Story, here on Power 106 FM. And in particular, on or around the 6th of February, because Una Marson was born on the same day as Bob Marley, the same 6th of February. Yep. So usually this is usually her month. At some point we talk about her or share the history on this program. It's a rich history. First Black voice on BBC. She was instrumental in assisting Emperor Haile Selassie at the at the United Nations when they had to deal with the occupation of Ethiopia by the Italians, and so on and so forth. The history is quite rich. Thank you very much, Donia Kroll, for sharing the information with which we're quite familiar. Thank you. There are some other messages that we're just seeing, which came in a few days now. Good afternoon, Dervan. Crime is the number one thing that is being talked about. Seems like the criminals want to take over the state. So sad. Well, they will if we allow them, if we let them. And another one was to contact, who is this now? His mother and my mother were best friends. Good. Uncle Dervan, thank you. Thank God for life. I asked you was to get Devon Harris contact for me. His mother and my mother were best friends, or are best friends. All right, we'll follow up on that for you, Lorna. Thank you very much for your message. Audrey Smith in Southampton in England, thank you very much for tuning in. Sophia Nemard in Newell, St. Elizabeth, good afternoon to you too. Mikey D, where's Mikey D again? In London. Good day to you, thank you. Malcolm Dale, greetings. Junior Jabari says, I was so angry after I watched the video and I was about to go to bed, and I don't like going to bed angry. It was sickening, says Junior Jabari in reference to that reckless motorist yesterday. Don Marie Smith, welcome. Jennifer Stewart from Kencott, Q Road in Kencott, East Central St. Andrew. Good to have you on board. Chris, are you in Jamaica or Canada, Chris? Are you in Manchester or Toronto? He says, Happy Earth Strong to the Crown Prince of Reggae, Dennis Emmanuel Brown. And Junior Jabari goes on to say the worst part was when he said that he was not stopping because he didn't want to go to jail and he doesn't want to lose the man car. So no regard at all for the passengers' lives. I'm so livid, says Junior Jabari. Norman Hines in St. Thomas says, good afternoon, Mr. Dervan and listeners. To you too, Norman Hines. Faye Weller says, good afternoon, Mr. Dervan and listeners. I'm here enjoying your program. You have a great day. Same to you, Faye Weller. George Prophet Dubs says, blessings. Up, everyone, on the live. Maya Fides, good afternoon to you. Thanks for watching. Louise Laudat, blessings to you too. Big up me artist, George Prophet. Enough respect, says Louise Laudar. All right. And Maya Fides is greeting everyone. So too, Paul in Philadelphia. Welcome, Paul. And Mikey D is greeting Louise as well. Jacqueline Simmons, good to have you on board. So it's the 65th anniversary of the birth of the Crown Prince of Reggae, Dennis Emmanuel Brown. And here's another message. Win Charmful says that robot taxi man was actually using his passengers as human shields, trying to elude the police. And those are just some of the messages. It's the birthday, as we said, the 65th anniversary of the birth of the Crown Prince of Reggae, Dennis Emmanuel Brown. And usually in this month, we do it almost every year now, we consider it an appropriate time in this month that has for some time now been dubbed Reggae Month, since the man who declared Dennis Brown the Crown Prince of Reggae was also born in this month, the legendary Robert Nesta Marley. Reggae Month offers us another opportunity to reflect on how much more individuals like Dennis Brown can contribute to the rich cultural heritage of this country, even in death. Even in death. Now, I believe Maypen Cemetery is about 164 acres. I'm not sure how much of it is still how much land is still left there. But it's something we've been talking about for quite a few years now. And we've asked the question before, what is preventing us from demarcating a section of Maypen Cemetery, for example, as the final resting place, even if we have to do some exhumations, but to demarcate a section of Maypen Cemetery as the final resting place for our reggae exponents, so that when people come to the land of reggae music, they can tour the cemetery, visit the shrine or mausoleum of Dennis Brown, Peter Tosh, Gregory Isaacs, Alton Ellis, Phyllis Dillon, listen to their music, read their life story, hear from people who worked with these artists, and possibly view films or videos of past performances. What we're asking for is a reggae cemetery, and it might seem, some people might see it as being frivolous or trivial, or no, it's a part of our heritage, and we should have a reggae cemetery, a place where reggae lovers from all over the world can come and pay homage to these giants of reggae music. Let us have a reggae cemetery. We wouldn't necessarily charge tourists, local or foreign, to visit this reggae cemetery, but perhaps ask for a contribution for the upkeep of the reggae cemetery. You'd be surprised at how many people worldwide who have been touched by reggae music who would be prepared to draw checks to ensure the upkeep of the final resting place of their favorite reggae artists. So as we remember Dennis Emmanuel Brown on this, the 65th anniversary of his birth, let us move now to establish that reggae cemetery. There is no time like the present. This is Reggae Month. This is Reggae Month. It's your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Here's a voice note, which we managed to listen to off air, so we can play it on air. Let's listen.
Good afternoon, Mr. Dervan. I have a little problem. I would like some help and some advice about. I don't know if you could help me with it. My mother, she have a court order, she and her husband, and from 14 years now, and a settlement supposed to lay down, and the settlement lay down from last year, and up till now she cannot get nothing. My mother is sick, and she need some money to take care of her sickness, and I cannot get nothing from the lawyer. What can you advise me, please, sir?
Sorry to hear of your plight. If you're not, it sounds like you said you have a lawyer. You're not getting anything from the lawyer. It sounds like a good time to take the matter to the General Legal Counsel. The General Legal Counsel, GLC. We would humbly suggest that you take the matter to report this lawyer to the General Legal Counsel. That's what we would suggest at this stage, because he's the one who's supposed to be seeing to the interest or the affairs of your mom, and you are dissatisfied with the service. So that's what we would suggest. The General Legal Counsel. General Legal Counsel. Hello, good afternoon. Thanks for calling Both Sides of the Story.
Mr. Malcolm, good evening, sir.
Good afternoon. Welcome.
Yes, sir. One of the things that I have been crying about for a while in this country, and I haven't seen anybody making a move towards it. The Museum of Sport. And also
Museum of Sports. That was supposed. One moment, please.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
3:15.
It continues to be all smiles at Wellington Dental. We offer dental care for the entire family, including cleaning, filling, whitening, and other dental services. There's wheelchair access and an exciting play area for the children. Wellington Dental, 57 Wellington Street, Spanish Town. Telephone 876-984-5482 or 876-749-3515. Tom, Dick, Harry, or Abby, come out. You may have passed one subject or no subject. Pick up yourself, man. Brush yourself off and go back to school. Get up. No need to be depressed. The Leganese School is offering refresher courses to you with or without CXC subjects. Call the Leganese School. They're registered for January 2022. Give yourself a fresh start. Call the Leganese School at 876-924-3244 for registration. Consumer Talks, educating and empowering consumers towards a more vigilant and confident consumer-friendly Jamaica. Join us every second and last Tuesday of each month at 9:35 on Real Business. Listen and learn about your rights and responsibilities. Learn how the CAC works to empower consumers in Jamaica. Consumer Talks, brought to you by the Consumer Affairs Commission, protecting your rights, securing our future.
My cup runneth over. Yeah. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow I all the days of my life. Yeah. Oh yeah, oh
yeah. Thanks for holding. On the subject of the museum, there's a story. Let me see if I can. Is this it? Right. America's Jesse Owen. Let's see. He participated in the groundbreaking ceremony, and we're making the connection with the museum. Jesse Owens, who won the first of his 4 gold medals in Berlin, Germany in 1936, 3rd of August, 1936. He eventually ended the Olympics with gold medals in the 100, 200, long jump, and 4x1. Jesse Owens participated in the groundbreaking ceremony for the National Stadium here in Jamaica. It was Thursday, the 5th of January, 1961. On that occasion, Jesse Owens asked that one of his cherished medals be hung in the Hall of Fame of Jamaica's National Stadium. So we didn't have a sports museum then, but Jesse Owens was picturing some kind of a Hall of Fame where medals and the images of the athletes would be on show. And he asked right there in the ceremony that one of his cherished medals be hung in the Hall of Fame of Jamaica's National Stadium. The request was made during an emotion-packed speech, which highlighted the groundbreaking ceremony of the National Stadium and National Sports Center at Briggs Park, which is now known as Independence Park. In an address, which left many of the 4,000 crowd with wet eyes, Jesse Owens, his voice often breaking, urged the people of Jamaica to do all they possibly could to give the youth of this country a vision. Here's what Jesse Owens went on to say. Today, ladies and gentlemen, as I stand before you very humbly, I would like to ask your organizing committee and you, ladies and gentlemen of Jamaica, may I have the privilege of placing one of my medals alongside the names of McKinley, Carr, Wint, and others who have brought honor to your nation. So we really should have had that museum going from way back then, from the establishment of the stadium. So however it was done, it would be a showpiece, apart from going to the stadium for football or track and field or whatever else, gala, etc., grand gala. You could go to, part of going to the stadium would be like going to a sports museum.
Yeah.
And they have more than enough land to be able to achieve that. But that still hasn't been done. To this day, we don't have a sports museum.
Which is quite disappointing.
Can you imagine this country that has produced so many world champions, Olympians, etc.?
Very much so. And I'm looking forward to see a reggae museum also. History, because we have rich history.
But this is it. I don't understand us. I don't know if we just despise our own or we don't take ourselves too seriously. We to have contributed to the world in so many areas, and we have very little to show of it in Jamaica, for example, because that alone will ensure an unending supply of tourists to this country, if nothing else.
To look at a country that have backslid, we are really not taking ourselves serious enough. We need to stand up and be counted.
Yeah. And yes.
You have the avenue to help us to push this picture, so we are looking forward to that.
Well, we'll keep pushing.
Yes, and I hope we don't fall in this because it's so long waiting.
Yep.
And we are a great nation that will appreciate it. My respect, sir.
Thanks for the call.
My pleasure.
Take care. Your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Chris confirms he's still in Jamaica, he tells us, doing some planting at the moment. Very good. Chris is well, his is a good example to follow. He could very well have shaken the dust of Jamaica off his feet and enjoying the high life in Canada. So here he is in Jamaica, enjoying the high life of Jamaica, which is growing what we eat and eating what we grow. So he's not wasting any time. He recognizes the value of food sufficiency, and he's playing his part in that regard. Well done, Chris. Thank you very much. Keep going. Let's take some more of your messages here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, 876-922-4112-5, 876-922-4112-5. Here's another connection. We possibly could twin cities in Jamaica with cities or towns in Texas, because of the history of the connection between Jamaica and Texas, which we have shared before on this program. In fact, on this day in 1861, Texas became the 7th state to secede from the Union, to break away from the Union, when a state convention voted 166-8 in favor of the measure. Dr. Robert Dallas was a Scots physician who migrated to Jamaica to seek his fortune. He established himself in Kingston and later bought an estate named Boer Castle in 1758 in the nearby hills. He renamed Boer Castle Dallas Castle, the first time that the name was being given to a location in the New World. He established a substantial operation based on sugar and later coffee. Dr. Dallas had 3 sons in Jamaica, with the youngest, Alexander, being born at Dallas Castle on June 21st, 1759. Alexander's mother was Sarah Elizabeth Cormac Hewitt. Sarah Elizabeth Cormac Hewitt. In 1776, Alexander Dallas migrated to the United States of America and became active in public affairs, eventually serving as the Secretary of the Treasury of the United States of America from 1814 to 1816. Alexander Dallas's son, George Mifflin Dallas, went a step further. He not only became mayor of Philadelphia and a United States senator, he was a strong supporter of President Polk in the debates on the expansion of the Union. This led to the U.S.-Mexican War and resulted in a significant expansion in the territory of the USA. In 1844, when Polk ran for the presidency, George Mifflin Dallas was his running mate in a close battle. They were victorious. In fact, in 1845, the new state of Texas founded a city and named it after the Dallas family, And that's how Dallas, Texas got its name. Another Jamaican instrumental in the development of Texas was Jacob de Cordova, or some people said de Cordova. De Cordova. Jacob de Cordova, the same man who founded the Gleaner on the 13th of September, 1834. Jacob de Cordova was born in Spanish Town in 1808 of a Jewish family that had settled in Jamaica for many generations, but was taken by his parents to the United States at an early age. He became a major real estate dealer, publisher, and promoter in Texas and represented Harris County in the state legislature. Jacob de Cordova also laid out the town of Waco, Texas, drew up the first map of the state of Texas, and introduced the lodge, the Independent Order of Oddfellows, to the state. While on a visit to Jamaica in 1834, he joined his brother Joshua in founding the Gleaner. On December 7, 1935, the bodies of Jacob de Cordova and his wife Rebecca were reinterred at the State Cemetery in Austin, Texas, from Bosque Country. The reburial came from legislation enacted to honor men and women who contributed to the development of the Lone Star State of Texas. There's a public memorial to Jacob de Cordova in the State Cemetery at Austin, Texas. If you're a Jamaican in Texas listening to us right now, you have a reason to be even more curious with all this information we're sharing with you to find out more about the contribution of Jamaicans to the development of Texas. And just for the record, if you missed it, obviously Kamala Harris is the second Jamaican, and she is Jamaican by virtue of her father's heritage. She is the second Jamaican to serve as Vice President of the United States of America. The first Jamaican was George Mifflin Dallas. Some people discriminate because he was white, and so some people don't count him. Well, you can't. History doesn't work like that. He's Jamaican by virtue of his father, his father Alexander J. Dallas, who was born at Dallas Castle in the hills of St. Andrew on the 21st of June, 1759. So there you go. Some of us want to be able to choose pieces of history. I don't know. History is history. When I say choose, like either you want to hide certain parts of the history, or you want to overplay, or to the point of it being false, of promulgating falsehoods. We're not into that. We research the facts and we share them with you, our faithful listeners at home and abroad, and you can decide what to do with the information. You can take it or leave it, right? And you can use it too. All right, here's another bit for you. Jamaica College was not always in the corporate area, and more precisely, St. Andrew. Jamaica College was removed from St. Anne, essentially, on this day in 1883 to Barbican Great House. You know Barbican Great House? When you make that left going up to, what's that, Cherry Gardens, it's on your right. Barbican Great House. That's where Jamaica College was removed from St. Anne in 1883 to the Barbican Great House. Let's give you some more in a moment.
Knowledge is power.
is in session. Power 106. Importers provide proper invoices for customs when presenting goods for examination. This could prevent delays during clearance. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is
3:30.
Oh no, here I come with laughing.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story. Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world, taking your calls on 876-922-4112-5, 876-922-4112-5, text line, same as the WhatsApp number, which means you can not only send us your text messages, your WhatsApp messages, but also your voice notes. And you can call us on WhatsApp, 876-365-3346. So back to Jamaica College. So that Jamaica College was removed from St. Anne on this day in 1883 to the Barbican Great House. Jamaica College, what do we mean by that? Jamaica College has its origin in a bequest of Charles Drax, a planter of the parish of St. Anne. Charles Drax, in his will dated 1721, left money to establish a charity school in St. Anne. After much delay and legal proceedings, the money was handed over to the St. Anne Vestry. In 1802, the sum of £5,200 was applied by an act of the legislature to the endowment of the school, which, since 1789, had been conducted by the vestry of the parish by the Drax Free School. During the governorship of Sir Anthony Musgrave in 1879, provision was made by law for the Jamaica Free School under a new name, the Jamaica High School, to come under the supervision of the Jamaica Schools Commission. This law also authorized the relocation of the school. Initially, the Barbican Great House in St. Andrew was rented for the school, which was removed from St. Anne on February 1st, 1883. A site was eventually obtained at Hope Road, at Hope St. Andrew, not Hope Road, because technically speaking, Jamaica College is not on Hope Road. Jamaica College is on Old Hope Road. Hope Road ends where Sovereign Center ends, that intersection, the intersection of Barbican Road, Hope Road, and Old Hope Road. That's where Hope Road ends, right at Sovereign Center there. Hope Road ends. So once you make that turn, if you're coming south going north, coming from Old Hope Road, and you make that right. Once you make that right, you are still on Old Hope Road, and every place that you pass, once you make that right going up the road, all of that is Old Hope Road all the way up to Papine in St. Andrew. But Hope Road starts in Halfway Tree Square and ends at Sovereign Center, essentially. At the end of Sovereign Center, that's the end of Hope Road. That's where Hope Road meets Old Hope Road. Let's get back to the story. Where were we? So a site was eventually obtained at Hope in St. Andrew, where the school was reopened on the 9th of July, 1885 by Sir Henry Norman, Governor of Jamaica. The first classes there took place in September of that same year. Now, there's another bit of history here as well. The first volume, A to Ant, of the Oxford Dictionary was published on this day in 1884. The first portion or fascicle of the Oxford Dictionary, considered the most comprehensive and accurate dictionary of the English language, was published. I think we've told you before on this program that there's a Jamaican who was involved in the publication of one of the first dictionaries. Yes, there is a Jamaican who was involved in the publication of one of the first dictionaries. If I can remember the details now, his name, Samuel, trying to remember, remember the rest of the name. But he, gosh, all right, we'll still try to find it for you to share that information with you here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Poro 106 FM, with respect to, what's his name? What was his name? Samuel, name not coming to me right now, but all right, eventually, we'll get around to it. We'll get around to it, but for the time being, let's continue with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, here on Poro 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world, and taking your calls on 876-922-4112-5, 876-922-4112-5, and we still have more for you. Let's go to 1961, the first female traffic supervisor in Jamaica. Some of the things that we take for granted. 1961, the first female traffic supervisor in Jamaica, Hilda Sutherland, was appointed by the Jamaica Omnibus Service, JOS. She would be responsible for training recruit conductors, male and female, and would be seeing to the welfare of women and children traveling on the JOS buses in the corporate area. 1962, and this is 60 years of independence for Jamaica. This year, we celebrate Jamaica 60. On this day in 1962, in his address at the discussions to finalize the agreement for Jamaica's independence, which opened at Lancaster House in London, and I should point out for the record that I did visit Lancaster House. It's apparently it has quite a history in terms of agreements, negotiations, deals, decisions of monumental proportions were made and have been made and are still being made at Lancaster House. And we thank Paulette Simpson of JN Bank in Canada. I beg your pardon, JN Bank in the UK, for organizing that visit, because we were actually covering a CARICOM. It was a CARICOM trade-related discussion that was taking place there, trade-related, the famous Lancaster House. Well, let's get back. So this is another example of significant decisions made at Lancaster House. On this day in 1962, in his address at the discussions to finalize the agreement for Jamaica's independence, which opened at Lancaster House in London, Donald Sangster, who was leading the Jamaica Labour Party's team until Alexander Bustamante arrived the following day, explained that it's not that we love others less, but we love Jamaica more. So I don't know if that's where Wilmot Perkins, well, I think it's really Shakespeare that Wilmot Perkins got the line from. That it's not that we love, it's from Julius Caesar. I think it was taken from Julius Caesar. But Wilmot Perkins used to use it a lot. And here we're learning that Donald Sangster also used the expression, it's not that we love others less, but we love Jamaica more, why his party campaigned for Jamaica's secession from the Federation in the previous July referendum. Of course, Donald Sangster would have paraphrased, well, here's the essence of it. He would have paraphrased Brutus in Act 3, Scene 2 of Julius Caesar, when Brutus said, "Be patient until I finish. Romans, countrymen, and friends, listen to my reasons and be silent so you can hear. Believe me on my honor and keep my honor in mind, so you may believe me. Be wise when you criticize me and keep your minds alert so you can judge me fairly. If there's anyone in this assembly, any dear friend of Caesar's, I say to him that my love for Caesar was no less than his. If then that friend demands to know why I rose up against Caesar, this is my answer. It's not that I loved Caesar less, but that I loved Rome more." So it's a line of patriotism. That's what it is. To say that I make certain decisions. When I make certain decisions, I make those decisions out of love for my country, not love for any one individual. Country first, Jamaica first. That's the idea of its use by Donald Sangster back in 1962 at Lancaster House in negotiating Jamaica's independence. So that's another piece of our history there in this, the 60th year. Can we come bring it a little closer to home? Let's go to 2002. Again, just a reminder that how long we have been at this point. 2002. Prime Minister P.J. Patterson and JLP leader Edward Seaga headed into their second crime summit on this day in 2002. Prime Minister P.J. Patterson and JLP leader Edward Seaga headed into their second crime summit on this day in 2002. They committed themselves to ensuring that the upcoming general election would be the most peaceful in the history of Jamaica. That was a 2002 election. They also agreed to the appointment of an acting public ombudsman who would work out of the public defender's office. So they headed into their second crime summit. Again, just a reminder, we've been having crime summits for some time now, and there have been committees and all kinds of meetings. And sadly, we're still at this place. What does that say to us? What does that say to us? What a thing. What a thing. But where there's life, there's hope. And we still have an opportunity to make a difference in making our country safer. We still have an opportunity as a country and as a people. Let's do what we can while we can for this blessed country of ours. Let's continue with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story. Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. Here's Miss Pearl Brown. She says, Sir D, good afternoon. It's sad what's happening here in Ocho Rios. Please do not call my name. Oops, I called it already. So it means I'm just going to stop the message right here then, because then everybody's going to know it's your message. Yes. Let's see. It's a good time to take a break then, Miss Pearl.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
3:45.
It continues to be all smiles at Wellington Dental. We offer dental care for the entire family, including cleaning, filling, whitening, and other dental services. There's wheelchair access and an exciting play area for the children. Wellington Dental, 57 Wellington Street, Spanish Town. Telephone 876-984-5482 or 876-749-3515. Becky is a deal hunter. She flips through the newspapers every day for great deals on products and services. Wow, I saw the same deal online.
Really? Where?
I found it on G-Commerce.
G-Commerce? What's that?
It's an online site for deals. Here, have a look.
Wow! These are deals that I have just found in the newspaper, plus others I haven't seen before.
Yep. Best of all, you can make the purchases right here on the site and have it either picked up or delivered right to your door.
That's great! Where do I sign up?
Go to gcommerceja.com to sign up and start clicking for the deals. gcommerceja.com, where the best deals are found.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Poro 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. Taking your calls on 876-922-4112, 876-922-4113, 876-922-4114, and 876-922-4115. The text line, same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346, 876-365-3346. Let's clear some more messages. Over on YouTube, Donovan Campbell says, good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm and listeners, home and abroad. Thank you for the history lessons you share with us each day. And Winston, otherwise known as Errol in Maryland, says, good afternoon, Sir D. Happy New Year. On this day, 1980, Garvey Maceo opened its doors for the first time. Congrats to my old school on our second D Cup, as in the Costa Cup. Yes, well done, Garvey Maceo. Well done. Well done. Errol, that's your school, right? We'll have to add that one to our list, that it was on this day that Garvey Maceo opened its doors. All right. We'll follow up on that. Chuck Ray says, Dervan, you're perfectly right. History cannot be changed at whims and desires of some generations. Thank you very much, Chuck Ray, Hosemati Alumni Association, New York chapter. Greeting everyone. Good afternoon. Thank you very much for tuning in. Roy Lawrence is being very kind. He says, hello, Mr. Malcolm. Knowledge is power, and you are a great teacher. Blessings to you. Thank you for your message, Roy Lawrence. Errol in Spanish Town says, hi, Dervan. I think government should start issuing harsher penalties for anyone caught with an illegal gun, like life in prison or the death penalty. Something must deter these gun boys, or things will continue the way they are. But then again, the human rights people, oh boy. Well, again, we maintain that this is not a banana republic, and we don't have any kangaroo court in Jamaica. We must abide by the laws of this country. Whether we are administrators of the laws, enforcers of the laws, or incompliant with the laws as members of the general public. So people's rights must be protected. It goes without saying. Thank you, Errol in Spanish Town, for your message on our WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346, 365-3346. Let's go to some other information that we have here on your program, Both Sides of the Story. I'm still trying to remember the name. Was it Samuel Johnson? Let's see. Let's try Samuel Johnson, the name of that Jamaican who was involved in the publication of one of the first dictionaries, one of the first English dictionaries. Let's see if we can find him in our system here. Samuel Johnson. Where are you? Reveal yourself. Let's see. I think we found him. Yes, as we were saying, a Jamaican was involved in the publication of one of the first dictionaries of the English language. Where do we start? Let's see. Samuel Johnson was not the Jamaican. We'll tell you the name of the Jamaican in a moment. But Samuel Johnson, but that was the trigger for my remembering what to look for to be able to pull up the information from my own archives. So Samuel Johnson's Dictionary of the English Language was published almost 63 years earlier, that's 63 years before the Noah Webster dictionary. You know Webster's dictionary, right? So hold on, let's see. Yes, so Samuel Johnson's Dictionary of the English Language was published almost exactly 63 years earlier on April 15, 1755. And so let's remind ourselves that a Jamaican was involved in helping Samuel Johnson put together his Dictionary of the English Language. A Jamaican was involved in helping Samuel Johnson put together his Dictionary of the English Language. The Jamaican was Francis Barber. That's the Jamaican who was involved in the publication of one of the first dictionaries of the English language, Samuel Johnson's Dictionary of the English Language, a Jamaican by the name of Francis Barber. Francis Barber was involved in helping Samuel Johnson put together this Dictionary of the English Language. Francis Barber was born on the 29th of November, 1735. He was a black slave who became a businessman and educator. That's Francis Barber. Became a businessman and educator. He was a black slave. Francis Barber was born on a plantation in Jamaica and subsequently brought to England by his owner in 1750. After a brief schooling at a village school in Yorkshire, Francis Barber entered the service of his owner's son. Later, he was hired out to Samuel Johnson after the death of Johnson's wife in 1752. Samuel Johnson, an English author, has been described as arguably the most distinguished man of letters in English history. Francis Barber worked as Johnson's valet for 6 years until he ran away to sea. There, for the next 2 years, he served on the HMS Stag, that's the name of a ship, in the North Sea. On his return in 1760, he rejoined Johnson's staff. He worked as Johnson's butler, but in 1762, after attending Bishop Stortford Grammar School for 5 years, he worked as his secretary. Francis Barber married an English woman and the couple had 4 children. Francis Barber and his family lived in Johnson's house When Samuel Johnson died in 1784, he left Francis Barber a gold watch and an annual payment of £70. Francis Barber moved to Lichfield, Staffordshire, and later became a school teacher in Burntwood. Francis Barber died in 1801. His son, also named Samuel Barber, became a primitive Methodist preacher in Staffordshire. So that's the name we were trying to remember earlier on. Francis Barber, the Jamaican who worked alongside Samuel Johnson, who published perhaps one of the most influential, if not the most influential, dictionary of the English language back then. There you go. And we shared that story because on this day in, when did we say? 18, was it 18? It had to do with the Oxford Dictionary. Right, 1884. On this day in 1884, the first volume, A to Ant, of the Oxford English Dictionary was published and still considered the most comprehensive and accurate dictionary in the English language. But Samuel Johnson's dictionary was one of the first, if not the first, official, professionally put together dictionary of the English language, one of the official dictionaries of the English language. Right, so that's that. And there's a poem we like to recite on this program. What Happens to a Dream Deferred? Dream Deferred by Langston Hughes. Langston Hughes was born on this day in 1902. And in that poem, he asks, what happens to a dream deferred? Does it dry up like a raisin in the sun? And those of us who did literature in school would remember the book Raisin in the Sun. Or fester like a sore and then run? Does it stink like rotten meat, or crust and sugar over like a syrupy sweet? Maybe it just sags like a heavy load, or does it explode? Dream Deferred by Langston Hughes. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Poro 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world, taking your calls on 876-922-4112-5, 876-922-4112-5. Text line, same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346, 876-365-3346. And for those who didn't realize how prolific Dennis Brown was and still is by virtue of his work, which we still have, he started very early, when he was only 11. And he recorded more than 75 albums. More than 75 albums. And we know one album has multiple songs, right? So multiply that by 75 albums. And Bob Marley publicly identified Dennis Brown as his favorite singer. Bob Marley said, this is my singer. This is my singer, my favorite singer. Now, doesn't that take a lot of humility to be able to say that as a superstar? Because some superstars don't yield that easily. But for Bob Marley, a big star, big mega star, superstar, to say, this is my singer. One moment, please.
is power. Classes in session. Power 106.
At Wellington Dental, they offer cleaning, filling, whitening, and other services for the entire family. The time by Wellington Dental is
4 o'clock. The classroom is now open. Our children are getting back to the things they love.
When they get home from school, help them to keep the family safe from COVID-19. Remind them to immediately wash hands using soap and water.
Remove uniform, turn inside out, and place in a container used to store dirty clothes.
If the uniform will be worn for a second or third day, hang it in the sun or air dry.
Shower immediately if possible.
Throw away single-use masks or place reusable ones in container used to store dirty clothes.
Stay away from family members if they are not feeling well.
Continue to frequently wash hands with soap and water.
And always wear a mask when leaving home. Let's get back to the things we love with the people we love. A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Morning with the Minister returns to Farm Talk this Friday, January 28th. Farmers, fisherfolk, backyard gardeners, industry players.
That's gone.
Join us as the Minister
That's
of
gone.
Agriculture and Fisheries, the Honorable Pernell Charles Jr., outlines his plans for the agriculture and fisheries sector. That's Morning with the Minister, 6:18 to 6:55 a.m. during Farm Talk with Althea McKenzie. This Friday, January 28th, right here on Power 106 FM.
Alright. Here I go with love and not hatred. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow us all the days of our life. Envy no one, no wish to be with no evil man. For there comes a day when you'll be reached by the Father's hand. Liverpool children, oh yeah, Liverpool children, oh yeah.
¿Qué hora es en español? Son las 4:02. Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 4:02. 现在几点了？4点02分. 2 minutes past 4 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Have you had a checkup lately? If not, now is a good time. Let's not wait till we get sick to get a checkup. How about that? Checking in with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Hello to Angela in Toronto, Canada. How's the weather today, Angie? And she's greeting Paul in Philadelphia as well. Denzel Martin says, wow, Francis Barber, what would we do without this program? Such a wealth of information, says Denzel Martin. Thank you very much for your message, Denzel Martin, and all the very best to you and yours as we continue with more here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, taking your calls on 876-922-4112 to 5. I believe there's a call on our WhatsApp line, which doubles as the text line. Let's listen. Hello, good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm. And for my new year, I think you should give me a present for giving me a drop number.
All right. Receive your present right now. Claim it.
All right, I have a very important point with this evening. I listened the other day to my midnight, I said the bank will raise them fee.
Who is them?
But, all right. I think I hear Mr. Fitz Jackson raise that argument. And he was asking the Prime Minister to put laws in place to back off the bank. This morning the bank said they're going to hold off the fee for 6 months. But if you will have the fee for 6 months, I mean, you're coming back with it. So to me, that's what the bank are dealing with.
Or could it be that they need time to reevaluate their position, their systems, their efficiencies, etc., to recalibrate their policy when it comes to fees. Isn't that a possibility too?
Well, for me, it would better them say, all right, we're going to lower the fee. I will not come with the fee. But when you say you waited 6 months before you come with the fee, where you say you're going to raise, what can you deal with? You
Well,
don't see that way?
they'll tell you that they're serious as a judge.
Yeah, but Mr. Malcolm, check this out. You put your money in the bank, that's when you get old, or for whatever reason you want it. And I have time to time the bank going into people money without their permission. I think they should have something to say, listen, if your account got dormant, when you're ready to get operating again, we charge a fee. That's more better. To me, that's somewhat better. But you make it go dormant, they're going to start going in without the person's permission. I think they should have some law to stop them from doing that. I don't think it's an easy thing for you to put your money for whatever reason. And then again, they have laws in place that if you see X amount of money at your house and you get caught with it, you can get a certain problem with it. I don't understand those things.
Yeah, well, the same amount of what?
So if you say they caught you with $1 million, remember now, this money is not nothing illegal. Your money is saved, and you get caught with that, you could be in trouble with the law.
Yes, because you're not supposed to. You're not supposed to walk around with that amount of money.
And then you put it in the bank, and the bank has to get out without my permission, and nobody can stop them.
Yeah, well, you could create a space in your home to keep your money there and use your money as you need it. But I don't see why you would need to have $1 million necessarily. You can have much less than that, and taking care of your day-to-day affairs if you don't wish to take your money to the bank.
Yeah, but remember now, Mr. Malcolm, in Jamaica, $1 million is like 100,000. I can't buy nothing much.
In your opinion, it depends on who you ask. You obviously have more than $1 million, and as my late mother would say, you're bread butter on both sides. So you're yes. So that doesn't appear to be anything to you, but there are others who would see it as a lifetime achievement.
Yeah, I understand that because some people right now, to give them $1,000, like to give them $1 million.
That's right. So everything is relative. Everything is relative.
Yeah, well, I want to do something to you know. I know the
well, there's a lot of advertising going on right now. You know, there's Sagicor. They're saying no fees. Sagicor running ads now saying no fees. I think as well. Well, VMBS or VM. That's their new brand. Their new branding. VM. They are also saying no fees, and there are yes. So there people have options. Yes.
So Malcolm.
Yes.
So Malcolm.
Yes.
I tried to deposit certain amount of US in account have and them said they have to charge a fee for that.
You're trying to deposit where? Which VM? Which one?
The one in Spanish Town.
VM in Spanish Town. Yeah, well, they say no fees, so I don't know, unless that is in particular in with regard to Jamaican dollars versus US dollars. Maybe there's a difference there.
But when they tell me again, say if I do withdrawal inside the branch, X amount, I have to pay a fee, but if I did at the machine, no fee. So I don't understand. They need to come clear.
Yeah, because they want people out of their banking halls. They don't. It's especially more poignant now that we have a pandemic and people. The less people gather, the better. In addition to trying to cut back on their costs, After all, they're not running charities. They did enter the financial field to make money, but you have options. That's the thing. There are options.
Yeah, but
So
if you have it on the ear, say no fee, and when you go there, a different thing. I think somebody now come straight.
no, it's that is the word. No fees.
Yeah, I understand. I hear what I say, but I'm saying when you go there, it's a different thing. Them I tell you.
Yeah, but it could it be?
So
Is it a different thing, or could it be that? Well, naturally, I guess they would say conditions apply. I haven't said that, but they would say conditions apply because nothing is 100%. Nothing is absolute in these matters. There are exceptionalities and peculiarities that have to be dealt with, and therefore, but if you go there and you find that they are charging you for what you don't think you should be paying, then go somewhere else.
okay.
There
So
are
the next time
options.
I'm gonna go right now, but the next time I'm there
Yes.
and they charge me a fee, I'm gonna tell them that the law office of Dervan, Malcolm and Associates say if they charge me, take them to court.
You're on your own in that regard.
All right, boss.
All right, take care. This is your program, both sides of the story. But it really should be about competition, shouldn't it? From the standpoint of it all coming down in favor of the consumer, the customer, the client. That's how it really should be. So you want my money, compete for my money. You want me to put my money in your bank. Why should I put my money in your bank? What am I going to achieve by putting my money in your bank? Because for decades, and it's a bit of ignorance in this country, we've been promoting it, and the DJs have been promoting it. Tiger said some years ago that he want to work till him bank book fat. And there are other DJs who have been talking about them bank book and how much money in them bank book and in their account. And that's really not how it's supposed to be. A savings account is supposed to be quite transient. Um, you pay your bills from your savings account, and you have your money for incidentals in your savings account. The rest of your money should really be invested in instruments, stocks, bonds, etc., where you can reap uh, reasonable returns. That's really what is supposed to happen. Mind you, there are those who can only afford, in a manner of speaking, a savings account because God bless what they have to put in there and how long it stays in there based on their situation. We have people working right up to their beyond the senior citizenship and to their death and still not able to live a comfortable life. And it's something we must really work on in this country to create an environment, a more enabling environment for people to prosper, for people to succeed, for people to be able to do well, for people to productively use their talents and be reasonably compensated. For too long, some of us have been shortchanging our own people for years. We give people what we feel, what we think they deserve, or what we think they should get. We determine, well, they don't need any more than that because, it's that kind. No, we must pay people on the basis of the established salary scales, whether in Jamaica or globally, and you work the numbers accordingly. It can't be that we just give somebody something. And another area we need to clear up for the tradesmen and women in this country, who the plumbers, the electricians, etc. It can't just be a charge of money. There must be some rate, what is the standard? Because you might very well be robbing yourselves, shortchanging yourselves. One moment, please.
listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:15.
Accurate and personalized service is what you get at Rose Pharmacy. They have the best medicine and the best rates. At Rose Pharmacy, they're more than a business. They're family. Conveniently located at Shop 8 Cressa Plaza, 1 Wharf Road, Morant Bay. Call 876-516-8183 or 876-782-9488. No one offers service better than us.
Did you know that the National Irrigation Commission Limited is the sole authority for irrigation systems in Jamaica? The National Irrigation Commission Limited enables the improvement in agricultural productivity through the provision of efficient and affordable irrigation to farmers and other customers. Contact them 977-6624 or 977-6727 or visit their website www.nicjamaica.com to learn more. Irrigation, making the difference in agriculture.
World Wetlands Day is observed annually on February 2, and this year's theme is Wetlands, Action for People and Nature. Tune into Power Talk with Simon Crossgill for a special World Wetlands Day focus this Wednesday, February 2, as we highlight the importance of actions that ensure that wetlands are conserved and sustainably used. World Wetlands Day Focus is brought to you by Conrad Douglas and Associates and Environmental Science and Technology Limited, the College of Agriculture, Science and Education, CASE, and the National Irrigation Commission. That's World Wetlands Day Focus during Power Talk this Wednesday, February 2 from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. right here on Power 106 FM. Consumer Talks, educating and empowering consumers towards a more vigilant and confident consumer-friendly Jamaica. Join us every second and last Tuesday of each month at 9:35 on Real Business. Listen and learn about your rights and responsibilities. Learn how the CAC works to empower consumers in Jamaica. Consumer Talks, brought to you by the Consumer Affairs Commission. Protecting your rights, securing our future.
Afternoon, one moment, please. ¿Qué hora es en español? Son las 4:17. Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 4:17. 现在地点了4点17分. 17 minutes past 4 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Have you done your homework yet? If not, now is a good time. Good afternoon to all the schoolers listening to us, all the students from the early childhood level to the secondary level. Trust you had a productive day of learning today. Hope you also managed to get in some physical activity, just as important as mental activity. As we always say, young people, socialization makes you educable. Education makes you trainable. Training makes you employable. And the right attitude makes you successful. Homework time, young people. Let's take some more of your calls on your program, both sides of the story. Power 106 FM. Here's a call on our WhatsApp line. Hello, good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon, teacher. How you doing?
Good afternoon. I'm giving thanks for life. And you?
I'm doing the same. A couple of days, probably a week ago, I was talking to you about some of the tools I think that is in the toolkit, but the government should say the stakeholder not using it as I think they ought to. And this morning I heard Minister Chuck. We were talking. I was referring to one of such tools as the restorative justice, and I earlier today I heard Mr. Chuck saying that he is establishing. I think it was the 8th restorative justice center in
Pembroke Hall.
Pembroke Hall, yeah, and I feel excited about it, but well, not necessarily that in itself, but the fact that he said that he was at the graduation of about 200 facilitators, and he was saying that they will be going into the schools and so on. as I was alluding to on that call. But I'm still advocating for him to not just have the facilitators going in school, but to get the CDCs, the community development groups, are to be involved in restorative, as in having them have workshops with members from the CDC to train them as to how to to pass on the message, to spread the word, because in that ceremony you could hear him saying that he doesn't have the money to pay the facilitators to really do the footwork. So I'm saying if that is an issue, almost every community, if not every community, has different CDCs. I'm saying if you get the CDC involved, have workshops with them, then they will be able to pass the message on. The CDC is made up of members of the community. So when members of the community know what is happening, then the message will spread right around. So that is one area I would like him to. I know there are persons monitoring these shows, so I'm hoping that somebody will say that to him. I believe that having the community groups involved would make a big difference in a lot of these things that are happening, Dervan. I think we tend to centralize things, and I think it's working against us. Even when you look at the vaccination, I believe if you had more community groups being sensitized, the message would go out better and easier. If you have people coming to make presentations to PTAs, having the PTAs involved, having the pastors fraternal involved, having the community development groups involved, the neighborhood watch, these groups, farmers groups. If you have the information at these groups, Dervan, I think we do much better in passing on whatever message that we want to pass on, rather than to centralize it, as in having a center, and these persons are at the center waiting for, I'm speaking specifically now to the restorative. So these people will be there at the center, and when a judge refer a case to restorative justice, that's when they sprung into action. We want it to be on the ground. We want people to know before they get to court that there is another way, there's a better way of dealing with their issues. So I'm hoping that somebody is listening and will bring that to his attention. I sent you a message a couple of weeks ago about the two, in my opinion, the two failing ministries. And I was referring to the security and the Ministry of Education. But when I heard the name of the gentleman slipped me now, but he is the head of the oversight body that has to deal with crime. What is his name? CPAC. Remind me the name,
CTAC?
No man, not CTAC. Like it's a body that's set up that would be the go between government and these different stakeholders.
In relation to the economy or crime?
To crime.
Yeah, I don't remember. It's CMOC. I don't remember the name. It's a long name.
Yeah, but there's a gentleman there that speaks regularly.
From representing the private sector?
Not necessarily the private sector. The private sector is one stakeholder, but it's something akin to the
to EPOC. I know.
Mm-hmm.
But
Right.
I'm trying to, is
And
it Lloyd Distant you're referring to?
yes, that's the gentleman there.
Mm.
Yes. So when I heard him, I have to take back my talk because he was telling us about the deliverables that's supposed to help to stem crime, and he was saying in terms of transportation, we did not meet the quota of amount of vehicle that the police need, and in terms of body worn cameras, and the list goes on and on in terms of things that they're supposed to have. And so I had to take back my word to say that we can't give people basket to carry water, and then when they come home, you're quarreling with them. So where is the water? So the government, yes, the most amount, they have spent the most money in this fight, but I don't know if the money is that spending in the right areas, because this oversight body, they would have done, they do the studies, and they would have come up with the necessary things that the force needs to perform to its optimum, and the government would have signed off on it. So wherever we have to find that money from to bring this thing up to the level, then we can't really ask the police to do the work in terms of ridding us of this monster.
Well, the police commissioner apparently held a press conference this afternoon. I'm not sure if it's still happening. I'm not sure of the timeline, but essentially, according to the Gleaner story published at 3:11 p.m. today, Jamaica is seeing a decline in murders and a record January haul of illegal guns. This was disclosed by Commissioner of Police Major General Anthony Anderson at a virtual press conference this afternoon. Anderson indicated that since the start of the year, 88 illegal guns have been recovered. Are you still there? Looks like you're reconnecting. 88 illegal guns. Are you still hearing us? Are you still there?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Right, because your connection dropped at some point a while ago. But I was just reading the story from the Gleaners online platform, quoting Police Commissioner Anthony Anderson, who was speaking at a press conference today. Are you still with us?
I'm here, man. I'm with you.
So the story says Jamaica is seeing a decline in murders and a record January haul of illegal guns. This was disclosed by Commissioner of Police Major General Anthony Anderson at a virtual press conference this afternoon. Anderson indicated that since the start of the year, 88 illegal guns have been recovered. These include 13 rifles, the highest haul in January since 2011. Anderson indicated that the AK-47 is the weapon of choice for the gunmen in Jamaica. I got that piece of intelligence a long time ago, and I've shared it. I got that piece of intelligence because they were that's definitely the weapon of choice, what they call tall up. And when you see them in the dance or wherever, they set their hands a particular way, they're simulating the size of the weapon. Yeah, and some of them are showing that they can do it with one hand as well, no matter how the weight of the weapon. So, yes.
Am I hearing you correctly? Am I hearing you say that the commissioner is saying we are seeing a reduction in what?
That's exactly what he's saying. One moment, please. Let's in.
You're
listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:30.
waiting. Waiting on your receivables. Waiting to purchase raw materials to fulfill your next order. Waiting to get paid for goods already sold. 60 days, 90 days. Invoices way past due. What if you could be insured for up to 85% of your domestic and foreign receivables? So that if you don't get paid on time, your biggest priority, your business, will not have to wait. Trade credit insurance. Insurance worth having. Credit without waiting. Exim Bank. By helping businesses, we save lives and life.
At Royal Medical Hospital, Clinic and Imaging Center, their highly skilled team is equipped to provide quality health care at an affordable price. General surgery, orthopedics, dermatology, general radiology, maternity care
After,
and delivery care,
within the next,
urology and more.
yeah.
10 Lewis Street, Savannah Lamar, Westmoreland. 876-955-3154. Royal Medical Clinic and Hospital, providing quality health care at an affordable price.
Under the Law helps you to know your rights and how the laws of Jamaica can help you defend those rights. We've been doing it for 50 years. That's right. Join us on Thursdays at 6:45 and 8:55 a.m. and at 4 and at 9:55 p.m. Compliments of the Jamaica Council for Persons with Disabilities. Educating, advocating, empowering. Under the Law, Thursdays on Power 106 FM.
¿Qué hora es en español? Son las 5 menos 29. Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 5h moins 29. Tien say, TDN le. Wu dien cha ar sure. Oops, time just changed. Cha ar sure ba fen. 28 minutes to 5 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Do you know where your children are? Are they where they're supposed to be? Doing what they're supposed to be doing? It's a good time to check up on the children. A good time for us to continue with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story. Power 106 FM. We have a follow-up interview to do shortly, so we're going to wrap this call in just a moment. There's a follow-up interview with Dr. Carey Fletcher, orthopedic surgeon at St. Anne's Bay Hospital. We didn't have enough time yesterday in our road safety broadcast to talk about the research that was done involving about 130 odd or so motorcyclists and what those statistics mean, the implications of those statistics. So we're going to go to Dr. Fletcher in just a minute, but let's wrap up our conversation with the caller online. Thank you very much for holding. So just for emphasis, you're asking a drop in what? A drop in murders. Jamaica is seeing, says the police commissioner, Jamaica is seeing a decline in murders and a record January haul of illegal guns. This was disclosed by Commissioner of Police Major General Anthony Anderson at a virtual press conference this afternoon. Anderson indicated that since the start of the year, 88 illegal guns have been recovered. These include 13 rifles, the highest haul in January since 2011. Anderson indicated that the AK-47, and we have said it before on this program, that is the weapon of choice for gunmen in Jamaica, with a gun costing between $500,000 and $1 million to acquire. And the question is, where are they getting the money from? Well, you can cite scamming, yes, as one source to buy these expensive weapons. And who is in the business of selling these weapons here in Jamaica? Yes, sir.
Let me catch up with you after you finish with the doctor.
All right, no problem. Thank you for the call. Take care.
Okay,
this is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. live on your smart devices all over the world, taking your calls on 876 922 411 But first, as we said, we did promise to follow up with respect to the study, the research that was done involving motorcyclists, and we're going to that interview right now with Dr. Kerry Fletcher. Dr. Fletcher, good afternoon to you. Thank you for joining us 2 days in a row.
Good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm. Good afternoon to your listeners. Pleasure to be here.
Great, thank you. And let's recap for the benefit of our listeners the basis on which you have been able, you and your team, to draw certain conclusions with respect to motorcyclists.
All right. So we had conducted a study at the St. Anne's Bay Hospital by the orthopedic department over 2.25 years, and we had developed a questionnaire for all of the people who came to the hospital that presented to the emergency room and or the orthopedic clinic. We had seen 155 patients who had crashed as a result of a motorbike accident. The data that was collected from the questionnaire was then put into a special program by some colleagues of mine at the university for further statistical analysis.
Mm-hmm. And the data is still being analyzed as we speak?
No.
Oh, that was
the data actually resulted in 2 publications, which is online, that I have sent out to various stakeholders, including the National Road Safety Council. So they are aware of the findings.
Oh, I see. Now let's get to the findings for the benefit of our listeners. First of all, the business of wearing helmets, which you touched on yesterday, but obviously we were a little rushed towards the end there. So let's start there in terms of the wearing of helmets, the efficacy of helmets. What can you tell us based on the studies, the research that was done?
Okay, so 29% of riders wore a helmet. So put another way, 71% weren't wearing a helmet. And we then went on further to analyze why it is that the people weren't wearing their helmets. And so what we found was that of those who weren't wearing a helmet, 53%, it was because of a version of, I was just going up the road. So riding for a short distance was the number one reason by far. So most of those riders actually owned a helmet, but couldn't bother to put it on at that time. So take-home message number one from that study is that even if you're just going just up the road, you still can get into a major accident and get major injuries resulting in need for surgery or hospitalization.
Mm-hmm. And let's come now to the roadworthiness of these motorcycles in terms of being passed and the motorcyclists themselves being declared fit and proper, in a manner of speaking, to operate these motorcycles.
Right. So we had looked at how common the riders were licensed and insured, and we found that 25% had a license, 26% were insured. And interestingly, of those who were licensed and insured, each of them, there was a 57% compliance rate in terms of wearing a helmet. Now, even though 57% is not ideal, it's almost twice the overall figure in terms of helmet compliance. So those who were licensed and insured were far more likely to wear a helmet. The other thing the study noted was that older riders tended to wear helmets, as well as those who rode larger motorcycles. With regards to those who are older, beyond a certain age, there was a 5% increase in terms of compliance. Those who were wearing a helmet, let me start over.
Yes.
In terms of the decade by decade breakdown, those in their 20s had an 81% helmet compliance, and the teenagers had non-compliance. But 81% of those in their 20s weren't wearing a helmet. And 91% of those who were teenagers weren't wearing a helmet. And those 2 decades were the highest categories in terms of the offenders. So the public educational messages need to be aimed at those age groups in particular. Those in their 20s are of our concern because they made up 47% of the study population, where the ages range from 14 to 64 years of age, and the average age was 28 years old.
And when there are crashes and collisions, what does the collective impact tell us by virtue of the nature and extent of the injuries? What have we learned in that regard?
Okay, so we broke down the mechanism of injury for all of the riders. 47% were involved in a collision. 38% it was due to loss of control, where loss of control was either due to riding on a wet road, poor road conditions, or speeding, or a combination of the three. And errant overtaking accounted for 14%. And importantly, when we looked at all of the mechanisms of injury for all of the riders, without a doubt, without any controversy, 80% were preventable, and another 8 to 9% were potentially preventable. So it's trending towards 90%. But without question, 80% were preventable. Had they been formally trained, the crash likely would not have occurred. And only 3 were formally trained. And one was a Canadian tourist living in Canada, so that person shouldn't count. And as I told you yesterday, the other one is a policeman who was trained as part of being in the force, and the third one was a Dover Raceway rider. So the average citizen doesn't have access to formal training. Now, I'm aware of a Back to Basics group that does formal training privately, as well as the National Road Safety Council has their training center set up in Westmoreland. That training center has a motorcycle simulator, and it's headed by various persons in the police force. The reality is that we need formal training to expand right across the island in order for us to really make a dent in this problem. Because what I've realized since rubbing shoulders with people in the road safety world is that formal training doesn't just simply improve the skill level of the rider, which of course is of utmost importance in terms of performing emergency maneuvers, which is lacking, but it also changes the culture. It makes riders less likely to undertake risk-taking behavior, such as stunts, etc. And there is a greater acceptance for the need for wearing protective gear. And so even though law enforcement will always be key, if you have an increased compliance rate, law enforcement won't be as important. And the other thing that I want to touch upon that I must mention before I go today, Mr. Malcolm, is that what's dogging us in the hospitals are lower limb injuries. And this is as a result of Jamaican riders. Their typical attire is shorts and slippers. So one
Yes,
of the major
I've seen them.
emphasis.
Hold it one moment. Let's just take the break and come back and give you an opportunity to expand on that point. Listeners, if you're just tuning in, 2 days in a row, our guest at this time is Dr. Kerry Fletcher. He's an orthopedic surgeon based at working out of the St. Anne's Bay Hospital. He and his team and colleagues, partners, did a study on motorcyclists and injuries and all the other peculiarities involving motorcyclists. And we've been learning a lot so far. One moment, please.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:45.
How long is this break?
World Wetlands Day is observed annually on February 2, and this year's theme is Wetlands, Action for People and Nature. Tune into Power Talk with Simon Croskill for a special World Wetlands Day focus this Wednesday, February 2, as we highlight the importance of actions that ensure that wetlands are conserved and sustainably used. World Wetlands Day Focus is brought to you by Conrad Douglas and Associates and Environmental Science and Technology Limited, the College of Agriculture, Science and Education, CASE, and the National Irrigation Commission. That's World Wetlands Day Focus during Power Talk this Wednesday, February 2 from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. right here on Power 106 FM.
No one, no wish to be with no evil man. For there comes the day when you'll be pleased by the Father's hand.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Live on your smart devices all over the world, taking your calls. But first, our special guest, 2 days in a row, Dr. Kerry Fletcher, orthopedic surgeon working out of St. Anne's Bay Hospital, and sharing with us a couple of, more than a couple, a wealth of information actually on a study, some research that he and his team and collaborators did. And we're learning of the findings. We started this conversation yesterday. Time was limited. And so we are completing it today. I'll give you the opportunity to pick up where you left off now, Dr. Fletcher. Please continue.
Yeah, so in terms of regionally, I'm going to take a step backwards to where I left off. When we look at where the injuries occurred, I'm defining lower limb as from the hip to the toe and upper limb from shoulder to finger. So we had 55% lower limb injuries, 35% upper limb injuries, 31% head injuries, 5% pelvis, and 5% spine.
Whoa.
Now, it wasn't just the quantity of lower limb injuries, it was a quality. The lower limb injuries led to the greatest need for hospitalization and the greatest need for surgical intervention.
Mm-hmm.
And a high degree of our patients needed hospitalization, 75%. Now, when you compare that to a previous study done by another group in 2004 that looked at all forms of road users, whether it's cars, buses, trucks, etc., the admission rate was 19%. So when you look at motorcycles alone at 75%, it speaks to the severity of the injuries that we're seeing.
Yes.
Now, to go back to the point I was making, the shorts and slippers attire is what's dogging us.
Yes.
And I have made presentations at the office of the Prime Minister on this issue, showed pictures about this serious matter. Now, I understand that there's always going to be pressure with regards to what's going to be palatable to the average citizen, the average voter. But at the very least, I'm appealing to the people out there. Cover your skin. Even if you don't have pads, knee pads and boots and all of that, you find it too cumbersome, at the very minimum, cover your skin.
Mm-hmm. It seems to me, though, I don't know if you get calls. You just mentioned presentations at the or a presentation at the office of the Prime Minister, but it seems to me with the growing delivery business, the growing courier business in Jamaica, certainly any company in Jamaica that employs motorcyclists should invite you and your colleagues to make a presentation to their team of motorcyclists so they can get a greater appreciation for the information that is going to essentially save their lives.
Agreed. And one of the things that I have advised the NRSC on is that we should try and work on the private sector for starters, because it's easier for them to put in certain stipulations in terms of what their employees ought to wear.
Because they're paying the employees.
Exactly.
Yes. Yeah, that makes sense. Really would want to encourage those listening to us right now who have a business, a courier business, a delivery business involving motorcyclists. We are humbly putting it to you that you arrange to have Dr. Fletcher and or other members of his team to make the presentation, because it's a couple of publications, the predictors of hospitalization and surgical intervention among patients with motorcycle injuries and helmet use among motorcycle accident victims in the northeast region of Jamaica. For those who'd like to get more information, to read more, where can they turn?
Well, it's actually online. So if you actually Google my name, Kerry Fletcher on motorcycle, it will pop up.
And of course, that's Kerry with a C.
C-A-R-Y, yes.
But before we let you go, though, we have to touch on the use of substances, certain enhancers,
yes.
The alcohol, the ganja, and whatever else people are using these days.
Right. Okay, let me start off with the one that I don't have.
Right.
Which is marijuana. And the reason I don't have it is simply this. The patients that I saw, it was impossible to determine cause and effect. Because most of them, okay, so over half of them smoked marijuana, right? However, many of them smoked marijuana throughout the day. And it was difficult to blame the accident on marijuana, especially without any toxicology studies.
Right.
It was just really impossible to determine that. So I only have an incident for the people who smoke, but I can't talk about cause and effect. Alcohol, despite the fact that I didn't have breathalyzer testing or blood alcohol levels, what I did look at were the people who consumed alcohol within 3 hours of the crash. And 37% consumed alcohol within 3 hours of the crash. Now, it doesn't mean that the alcohol caused the crash, but it means it potentially caused the crash. And also to note that I would be relying in certain cases on patient honesty to contest this as well.
True.
But the data does speak to 30%, 36%, various averages in the 30s. So my figure of 37%, I think, is a reasonable one. Now, so we went further in terms of just simply quoting a figure.
Yes.
We found that 84% of those who consumed the alcohol within 3 hours of the crash needed to be hospitalized.
Whoa.
And you were 3 more times likely. So the predictors of hospitalization were twofold. One was the number of body areas involved, and 2, consumption of alcohol.
I see. And you mentioned, you talked about the lower limb and the need for motorcyclists to cover their skin at the very least.
Yes.
the what has been the probability of those being injured in a motor vehicle crash or collision recovering significantly to almost normal, or will there always likely be or invariably be abnormalities arising from the crash or the collision?
You know, that's an interesting question, which has many components to it. So there's a physical component and a psychological component to injuries. And even quote unquote minor physical injuries often lead to prolonged psychological trauma, whether it be anxiety, depression, post traumatic depression, and other mental issues. And this is something that is not looked into in enough detail. From a physical point of view, where my expertise more lies, what I can say is that the majority will physically recover to near normal, but most people, it depends once again on what you're describing as normal. If we're talking about the ability to do the basic activities of daily living, fine, but most people still have some form of impairment in terms of when you do various rating systems that assess your ability to either take care of yourself, participate in social activities, sexual activities, your ability to function on the job. Most people still have residual impairments when you do a detailed assessment.
Yes. Well, we hope the motorcyclists are listening, although chances are they're busy bobbing and weaving in traffic, in and out. And what we hope the message gets through. And we would like to suggest once again that the operators of courier services, those who employ bikers, should invite the likes of Dr. Fletcher to explain and expound and just give them the unvarnished truth about what the likely impact, what kind of what they're doing to themselves by virtue of what has been happening on our roads. Last year, 163 motorcyclists were killed on our roads. So
yes. One last point, please.
Sure.
Very quickly. Of those who suffered a head injury,
Yes.
90% weren't wearing a helmet.
Whoa. That sums it up in more ways than one. We definitely look forward to having you on again, Dr. Fletcher. Keep researching and keep sharing. We are the better and for the information that you have shared with us this afternoon.
Well, I'm quickly going to tell you that I am researching motor cars, buses, trucks as we speak, and that data will come out later this year.
We look forward to the presentation of that information right here on both sides of the story. In the meantime, well done to you and your team. Thank you so much and all the very best.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Take care. Dr. Kerry Fletcher, orthopedic surgeon at St. Anne's Bay Hospital, sharing with us a wealth of information. And there's more to come. We don't do enough of this in Jamaica. We need to study these things. We need to research these things in order to help ourselves and help each other to make more informed decisions. Can we thank you once again for the privilege of serving you on yet another edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story, for today, Tuesday, the 1st of February, 2022. The moving finger writes, and having writ moves on, nor all your piety nor wit shall lure it back to cancel half a line, nor all your tears wash out a word of it. All things being well, Both Sides of the Story returns tomorrow afternoon, 2 to 5. Till then, this is Dervan Malcolm reminding all of us that every day is an opportunity to do better than yesterday. Take care.
Surely goodness and mercy shall follow all the days of our life.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
5 o'clock.
news, comprehensive, powerful, and credible. Power 106 FM now presents a simulcast of Radio Jamaica's news at 5.